Hey there, it's Anna. Welcome back to the garden. Today, the garden is in a bit of a state of disarray. We were gone for a couple days, we're back now, and it's just amazing in this time of year. Even if you're gone for like 2 days, lots of things have changed, and the biggest one is I really need to come out here and stake a lot of things. So I'm wanting to do some vertical growing of squash. I've always seen that, and it looks like a really amazing way, especially for us small space gardeners. So I have this squash on the corner of this bed right here, and that's the one that I'm going to try to grow vertically. I also want to harvest some Swiss chard today. Everything's just kind of falling over. So if you want to see a little bit of a garden transformation, then keep watching, because we're going to take kind of this place that has gotten messy. I get it all clean and then it gets messy again. It's just kind of how gardening goes. But we're going to get it sorted out. So stick around for that, and I'll show you how I'm doing the vertical growing of the squash. It's also raining and nap time. So we'll see how much I get done today. But let me show you the squash real quick, and I'll give you a little view of what the garden's looking like, and then we'll get it all cleaned up. So I just had some projects going on, so there's a little bit of dirt and things everywhere. You saw the sunflowers, and I have all my stakes out. So I need to get things staked up, you know, deadheaded, that kind of stuff. But here's the squash that's in the corner, and I sort of started this. I put one stake in, and as you can see, I had a little bit of twine that I tied down here. And then what I'm going to do is take another piece of twine and stake it again, connect it again to the stake, and then I'm going to trim out all of these lower leaves. They're starting to color, as you can see, and so this will help keep the plant even happier. I'm just going to come under the shade of the patio right now because the rain is starting to get a little bit harder out there. But by removing the lower leaves, it doesn't hurt the plant at all. It's not an issue as far as the plant having, you know, getting enough sunlight and nutrients and everything, but it helps to kind of take care of some disease. If you deal with powdery mildew, it allows for a bit more airflow and stuff like that. And basically you just keep tying the plant up the stake as it grows. Now you do want to use, you know, something soft. I am using jute twine. I just use jute twine to tie up everything, because if it falls in the garden, it just decomposes, and then I don't have to worry about like strings or ties. But you can use like even like old pantyhose or something like that, or one of the special vegetable ties. Those work too. And I just keep it loose so that I'm not like constricting the plant or, you know, holding it so tightly that it causes any kind of you know, an issue as far as the growth of the plant. I'm also going to stake, like I have these really pretty coreopsis that are kind of falling over. I'm just going to pop a stake in there and tie that up. And let's see what else is getting staked today. Probably the tomatoes. Again, you've seen me do that over and over in videos, but they just keep growing super quickly, and not to turbid it. I was picturing like a 3-foot plant. Those are definitely pushing 4 feet very quickly. I did want to show you the zinnias. Here are the lily-put zinnias. They've started to bloom. We've got these really pretty purpley pink ones, a lighter pink down there. The beautiful sunflowers that I planted. This gorgeous little purple. I really like these. They're very pretty, and they're just going to start really filling in now. There's the Swiss chard that I need to harvest, and I'm actually going to pick this pepper. Looking at the picture on the tag, it looks like you can kind of do anything in the yellow to red range. Well, I don't know. What would you do? That's looking pretty yellow to me. I think I'm going to pick it. Let's see if I need to get my... Let's give it a taste test. Oh, something got in there. Oh no. I often find this with a new variety. I'm like not quite sure when to pick things. Let's see how. Oh, yeah, something, a little bit of a hole. It's kind of yucky inside. Oh, that's sad. And I give this to the worm, so at least it won't go to waste. What a bummer. I've been watching that pepper, but I just didn't see that it had this point of weakness. That's why it's important to keep an eye on things. Hopefully by picking that, it'll encourage the plant to produce more. I can see a bunch of buds and flowers on there, so I'm sure that pepper will fill in soon. Okay, I'm gonna stake this squash start by cutting a couple pieces so that I have it ready, and then I'll just go tie it up the stake and prune out those lower branches. First, I'm gonna stake up this tomato plant. I put the stake next to it, but I never actually tied it on, so there we go. And then now, let's take it, I'm just gonna loosely gather the stem and just tie it on like that. Nothing to it. I'm gonna come in with my garden shears and just take out all these lower leaves that are not serving the plants. And it'll just keep growing right up that stake. I'm also gonna come in here and take out any leaves from any of the other plants that are looking kind of discolored. This is some of the sunflower. So I'm gonna do this to a bunch of the different plants around here and hopefully get the whole garden looking a lot cleaner. Right now, she's just kind of a mess. So let's get this all tidied up. Another pepper I am excited to harvest are these culado peppers. They're a heatless jalapeno, so all the flavor of a jalapeno, but none of that heat. I picked them because I have a toddler and she loves like salsa, and we make a lot of like Mexican style food, but she can't handle the heat. Oops. She can't handle, you know, the heat of a normal jalapeno, so these are perfect. So I'm adding these to my harvest. Got 2 of them. This is all the Swiss chard I've harvested so far. I have a bunch of different varieties, but starting to get some really nice big leaves. And I'm just gonna use this just like I would use spinach. So any place where I'd use spinach, I will throw in those, and it works really well. It's starting to really rain hard today, so I better probably clean up as much as I can. I don't think I'm going to get all my garden cleanup done today, but I will keep you posted. I do want to show you one last final bloom before I put the camera away for today, and then I'll pick back up tomorrow when I get this whole garden refreshed and ready to go for the rest of the week. Isn't this cute? It's just barely starting and kind of falling apart. This is this gorgeous coreopsis. I got it from Baker Creek, I believe. It's a white coreopsis. How fun. And it's just loaded with buds. So there's gonna be so many. Got it all staked up. And what I did is I put this stake in the center, so I'm also gonna get another string and just tie this one loosely to it. And that way the plants kind of have room to sort of grow in their own natural pattern. And they don't have to be too tightly held to the stakes, so they'll still look really beautiful and natural and flowing. I might go put on my raincoat and just keep working. See you tomorrow. All right, it's the next day. We're back in the garden, and I am going to get this garden all cleaned up. So I'm gonna put you on a time lapse and get it going, mostly just moving the pots and sweeping. I find that with a container garden, that's a pretty regular task. We do that a lot in these kind of gardens, but it is important to just keep things tidy and make a nice space that you love, so it's what you gotta do. All right, this garden cleanup is taking a while, but one thing I've been doing and really loving is collecting all these piles that I sweep up. So if you have any kind of a situation like me, you end up with these piles of like twigs and little mulch and just like lots of dirt. A lot of this is potting soil that I paid good money for, but it's kind of like what to do with it. This is where my little worm composting system has come so in handy. I posted more things about it on Instagram, But what I do is I keep my extra tray, so my extra level of the worm composting, and I just fill it with like garden debris and these kind of like sweep up stuff. And this is sort of what I use as part of my bedding for my worms. I just put it right in here, and then they will help to compost it, and I can put it back on the garden with the worm castings, and that way I feel like I'm not just like totally wasting all the soil. This is where the worm casting or the worm composting system is set up. If you're interested in worm composting, I would recommend looking at like just Google, I guess, and just kind of Googling like 5-gallon bucket worm composting system. There's a ton of really great instructions. I think that Epic Gardener has a video all about this. I watched some of his videos about worm composting as I was getting started. So that's something that you can do with all the sweeping up, cleanup bits, because yeah, like me, with this kind of a garden, I just end up with all this debris, and it's nice to know that like it's going back into the garden, it's feeding the garden. By the time the worms are done with it, it's like extra prime, good for the garden goodness. So that's what I'm doing. I'm gonna gather up all this stuff that I've swept up, and then I think I'm just about done arranging the containers. We'll see where we're at. All right, I think I have it done for now. You might be able to hear I've got the drip system on. I'm watering everything while I did this. Here's the garden. I pulled out the hose because I gotta water all these pots still, but I think I've got it set and clean. Boy, constant process. Definitely tried a few different iterations. This is the layout that I settled with. So some sunflowers in this corner here to tie in with the Suncredibles. I wanted to put this eggplant back into like full sun because I had it in kind of part shade, and it stopped blooming. So that was a good lesson, good thing to learn. This guy needs full sun, so it's in the corner, full sun. Look at these grow bags. I mean, oh my gosh. Hopefully I'm gonna start getting squash soon. They look incredible. And then I kind of staggered the catmint. I put the clematis in. They've been potted now. And yeah, I think this is gonna be really nice. These supertunias are just absolutely loving life in this container. They have taken off. I love this with the petunias underneath the butterfly bush, and look, you can see the bee on it. Absolutely stunning. I need to water these hanging baskets. Oh my gosh. But I think this is a really pretty look. The fun thing about container gardening is you just can like keep changing it up. I'm gonna fill up the pond there. And then I think that'll be it for today. A good start, you know. I'm sure I'll be out here sweeping again within a week. And maybe rearranging the pots, but I'm kind of liking this setup here. I think this is nice. It feels good. I'm going to harvest potatoes soon. That'll be done. So some things like that. I feel like it's just looking so nice. So anyways, thank you so much for hanging out in the garden with me today. I hope that you are having a beautiful day in your garden, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye-bye.